I didn't do this stuff. This is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career.
A halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some keep getting?
What if everything we've been told about R. Kelly, Jay-Z, and Diddy has been a complete lie? This story isn't just about fame or drama. It's about power, secrets, and a silent war that's finally starting to explode into the open. What's coming out now could shake the entire hip-hop world to its core. We all know the wild stories about R. Kelly, the scandals, the trials, the endless accusations that finally brought him down. But what if the real twist isn't about what he did, but what he knows? While everyone was busy celebrating his downfall, nobody stopped to think that Kelly might be holding the biggest stash of secrets the music industry's ever seen. This isn't about recycled gossip or old headlines. It's about new court filings, strange moves inside prison, and timing that's way too suspicious to ignore. Word on the street is that R. Kelly isn't just fighting for his freedom anymore. He's allegedly sitting on a vault full of dangerous secrets, and the people who should be sweating right now? Jay-Z and Diddy. Two names that might be panicking behind closed doors. Just last week, Kelly's legal team filed a shocking motion claiming there's a real plan in place to silence him for good. And get this, it's not some random online rumor. The documents reportedly suggest that certain prison officials might be working with extremist groups to make sure Kelly never walks out alive. Crazy, right? The timing couldn't be more suspicious. All of this started happening right after Kelly began dropping hints that he's got serious dirt on some of the most powerful names in the game. Then, suddenly, boom, everything goes sideways. Coincidence? Maybe, but it sure doesn't look that way. Not long after those hints, Kelly was rushed to the hospital after collapsing in his cell. His team swears it wasn't a medical emergency, it was a setup. They believe he was intentionally overdosed. Now he's locked away in solitary confinement, completely cut off from everyone, and his lawyers are yelling that this was no accident. It was a straight-up hit job meant to silence him before he exposes everything he knows. And the craziest part? It might just be working. The government brushed everything off like it was just another wild conspiracy theory. But since when does the government shut something down that fast unless there's something way bigger hiding beneath the surface? It's almost like they wanted this story buried before anyone started asking the wrong questions. Now, let's talk about the real elephant in the room, Diddy's shocking conviction. While the world was locked on to the headlines, the trial, and that 50-month sentence for those transport charges, almost nobody stopped to ask the real question.
I think that they don't want, if they were in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public.
Why now? After years of quiet settlements, sealed cases, and hushed rumors, why did the feds suddenly decide to make their move on Diddy? And why is it all going down just as R. Kelly's prison filings start flooding the internet? Kelly's team isn't just shouting about some so-called assassination plot. They're hinting he's sitting on information so explosive it could shake the entire industry. What if this whole thing could flip hip-hop history on its head, revealing who's really been pulling the strings behind the scenes during its darkest years? And don't think Jay-Z's name doesn't fit somewhere in this puzzle. Remember, Jay-Z didn't just cut off R. Kelly after that chaotic Best of Both Worlds tour. He allegedly helped fund the very documentary that destroyed Kelly's image. Surviving R. Kelly wasn't just storytelling, it felt like a strategic takedown. So who was whispering in the producer's ears back then? Who had the most to gain from R. Kelly's public downfall? Just look at the timeline. It'll give you chills. Kelly got convicted in 2021, Diddy got indicted in 2024, and now in 2026, Kelly's legal team is filing motions claiming there's a government-backed plan to silence him for good. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's name keeps popping up in connection with federal investigations. Does that really sound like coincidence, or is there a deeper connection linking them all together? Same circles, same power players, same timing. It's all too perfect to ignore. And let's not forget, everything started to fall apart back during that infamous Best of Both Worlds tour. The pepper spray chaos, the tension, the betrayal. That was the moment the cracks in their empire first began to show. The canceled shows, the lawsuits, the chaos. But what if that tour wasn't just a flop? What if it was the start of something way darker? Things are about to get even crazier, because while everyone's glued to Diddy's legal storm, Jay-Z's name keeps slipping right back into the same conversations again and again. Remember NASA's old interview with Wendy Williams, the one where he flat out said, "You gonna sit here and tell me that working on that album, he ain't never seen no 14-year-old girl come in the vicinity?" That wasn't just shade, that was a warning shot. Now, with R. Kelly's lawyers teasing he's holding blackmail-level secrets, we've got to ask, what did Jay-Z really see? What did he really know? And why does it feel like he's the only one who somehow walked away completely clean? And don't forget about those so-called freak-off parties. Everyone's been fixated on Diddy's trial and the Cassie Ventura hotel stories, but nobody's asking the real question, who else was there? Because let's be real, Diddy didn't throw those wild nights alone. He had partners, powerful friends, and insiders who all had something to gain from those shady setups. If R. Kelly really does have tapes, messages, or even memories of who stepped into those rooms, Jay-Z's name could definitely be floating somewhere in that mix. In hip-hop, power isn't just about cash, it's about secrets. And right now, R. Kelly might be the last person left who knows exactly where all those skeletons are buried. Think about it. One artist locked in solitary, claiming there's a hit on his life, a music mogul freshly convicted and waiting out his sentence, and a billionaire rapper who somehow keeps dodging every single bullet, even though his name keeps circling around federal chatter and old industry scandals. But here's the wildest part. This still isn't the full story. Because while the world's glued to the courtrooms, the verdicts, and the flashy headlines, nobody's stopping to ask the question that could blow this whole thing wide open. What if all these stories are connected in ways we were never supposed to see? What happens if R. Kelly actually starts talking? And more importantly, who's really scared of what he might spill? If hip-hop's darkest moments have shown us anything, it's that the men at the top didn't get there by playing fair, and they sure don't stay there by telling the truth. The whole game runs on power, silence, and control.
Jay-Z got his whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got it after. The fans ain't step in and do.
And once you start pulling at those strings, everything starts to undo. But here's where things take a wild twist. While the world's been glued to Diddy's trial and whispering about Jay-Z's removed involvement, barely anyone's talking about the one person who connects them all, Aaliyah. She wasn't just part of R. Kelly's story, she was the beginning. And if you think Jay-Z and Diddy didn't have their own roles in that timeline, you might be missing the biggest piece of the puzzle. Aaliyah's name keeps popping up in all the wrong places, like the time Damon Dash, Jay-Z's former business partner, allegedly refused to help produce the Best of Both Worlds unless the profits went to the Aaliyah Foundation. Or how Jay-Z supposedly looked past the warning signs about R. Kelly's behavior after Aaliyah's passing. Those details aren't random, they point straight towards something deeper and way more calculated. And here's another layer that'll make your head spin. Rumors say Diddy was the one who first introduced R. Kelly to Aaliyah. You really don't think that's relevant after all these years? Every man tied to this story gets tense when her name comes up, and that name is Aaliyah. She's the missing link, the one that makes all of this look a lot less like coincidence and more like a cover-up that's been hiding in plain sight. Now, let's talk about the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, because that's where things start looking like a setup. That project didn't just appear out of nowhere, it was backed, funded, and carefully planned. And if the whispers are true, Jay-Z wasn't just sitting on the sidelines watching it unfold, he was allegedly pulling the strings from behind the curtain. So ask yourself this, why would a man who's built a spotless image suddenly involve himself in a takedown like that, unless he had something massive to gain, or something even bigger to hide? Don't forget, Jay-Z didn't just walk away after that Best of Both Worlds disaster. He straight up erased R. Kelly from the game like he never existed. Then, years later, he supposedly helped bankroll the very project that made sure Kelly could never defend himself again. That doesn't sound like justice, it sounds like a full-on cover-up. And if R. Kelly's legal team is even half right about there being a real plan to silence him, Jay-Z's fingerprints could be all over it. But here's where it gets downright eerie: the timing. Kelly's conviction in 2021, Diddy's indictment in 2024, every event lining up perfectly like a row of dominoes just waiting to crash down.
Now here we are in 2026, and R. Kelly's lawyers are dropping motion after motion about assassination plots, shady government behavior, and corruption, while Jay-Z's name keeps sliding into federal conversations. You really think that's just a coincidence? After decades of silence, rumors, and cover stories, suddenly the feds move in on Diddy now, right when Kelly starts fighting for his life again? The timing is way too perfect, way too clean. Because here's the thing, power in this industry isn't just about what you do, it's about what you know. And right now, R. Kelly might be the last man left who knows the full truth. That brings us all the way back to where this nightmare really began, the Best of Both Worlds tour. That's where everything started to unravel like a ticking time bomb waiting to blow. That tour was chaos from the jump. Shows getting canceled, lawsuits flying, and rumors of serious threats against Kelly's life. Word is, Jay-Z's crew was allegedly sabotaging his set, cutting the lights and messing with his sound. Things got ugly fast. Then came the now infamous Madison Square Garden incident. Kelly swore someone in the crowd pulled a gun on him, and right after that, he got pepper sprayed by one of Jay-Z's own associates. Just like that, the whole tour was finished for good. So you gotta ask, why would Jay-Z's people go that far to shut R. Kelly down? Unless they were terrified of what he might say or what he might still remember. Let's be real, Jay-Z didn't just leave that tour, he ran from it and never looked back. Not until now. Because here's the twist, R. Kelly isn't just a disgraced artist anymore. He's the one man left who could blow the lid off the entire industry. He's a man with nothing left to lose. If R. Kelly's claims are real, if there truly is a plan to silence him, then the real question isn't if he'll talk, it's when. And when he finally does, who's still gonna be standing? Jay-Z might have the billions, Diddy might have the... Now here we are in 2026, and R. Kelly's lawyers are dropping motion after motion about assassination plots, shady government behavior, and corruption, while Jay-Z's name keeps sliding into federal conversation. You really think that's just a coincidence? After decades of silence, rumors, and cover stories, suddenly the feds move in on Diddy now, right when Kelly starts fighting for his life again? The timing is way too perfect, way too clean. Because here's the thing, power in this industry isn't just about what you do, it's about what you know. And right now, R. Kelly might be the last man left who knows the full truth. That brings us all the way back to where this nightmare really began, the Best of Both Worlds tour. That's where everything started to unravel like a ticking time bomb waiting to blow. That tour was chaos from the jump. Shows getting canceled, lawsuits flying, and rumors of serious threats against Kelly's life. Word is, Jay-Z's crew was allegedly sabotaging his set, cutting the lights and messing with his sound. Things got ugly fast. Then came the now infamous Madison Square Garden incident. Kelly swore someone in the crowd pulled a gun on him, and right after that, he got pepper sprayed by one of Jay-Z's own associates. Just like that, the whole tour was finished for good. So you gotta ask, why would Jay-Z's people go that far to shut R. Kelly down? Unless they were terrified of what he might say or what he might still remember. Let's be real, Jay-Z didn't just leave that tour, he ran from it and never looked back. Not until now. Because here's the twist, R. Kelly isn't just a disgraced artist anymore. He's the one man left who could blow the lid off the entire industry. He's a man with nothing left to lose. If R. Kelly's claims are real, if there truly is a plan to silence him, then the real question isn't if he'll talk, it's when. And when he finally does, who's still gonna be standing? Jay-Z might have the billions, Diddy might have the felonies, but R. Kelly, he's got the receipts. And if hip-hop's darkest scandals have shown us anything, it's that the truth always finds its way to the surface, no matter how deep it's buried. So now we're left with the only question that matters. Who's gonna survive when that truth finally explodes? Because in this world, the only thing more dangerous than power is secrets. And right now, R. Kelly might be sitting on the biggest one of them all. This is where the story turns pitch black, forcing everyone to question everything they thought they knew about these men. And if we're talking about secrets, we can't skip the one name that ties Jay-Z, Diddy, and R. Kelly together in a way that still sends chills through the industry: Aaliyah. Everyone's heard the whispers about her marriage to Kelly when she was just 15, the fake ID, the hush-hush ceremony, the frantic annulment, and her family's desperate attempts to erase that nightmare from history. But what almost nobody talks about is how Jay-Z and Diddy are also tangled in that same legacy. Not as bystanders, but as men who allegedly played roles in shaping it before backing off when the heat got too real. Aaliyah wasn't just part of R. Kelly's scandal. She was caught in a bigger, darker game of money, music, and control. This wasn't about one man's actions. It was about a whole system built on silence, where the most powerful names made sure the truth stayed buried deep. And here's where it gets heavy. Damon Dash, Jay-Z's own business partner at the time, refused to play along when Jay-Z and Kelly were building the Best of Both Worlds project. Dash allegedly drew the line in the sand. He wanted the profits sent straight to the Aaliyah Foundation. Why would he demand that? Unless he saw the danger up close and wanted no part of it. That move said it all. He knew something wasn't right, and he wasn't about to be part of that mess. But Jay-Z, he kept pushing forward like nothing happened. Even after Aaliyah's tragic death, he allegedly pressed on with Kelly as if the past didn't exist. And that decision still raises huge questions today about loyalty, about power, and about just how far some people will go to protect their own empire. Even after all the whispers about those late-night studio sessions, even after the world saw exactly what kind of man R. Kelly was, Jay-Z still pushed forward with him. That wasn't loyalty, that was strategy. Because Jay-Z didn't just ignore the warnings, he allegedly profited from them. And if that doesn't make your stomach twist, you gotta ask, what else was he willing to overlook when the money was right? And then there's Diddy, the man who allegedly first introduced Kelly to Aaliyah. We might not know every single detail of that meeting, but one thing is crystal clear. Diddy played a huge role in Kelly's rise during the 90s. He was the one opening doors, giving him access, and allegedly helping to build the same system that allowed Kelly to move around without facing real consequences. But when those rumors started getting too loud, when the lawsuits piled up and the walls started closing in, did Diddy really cut ties? Not immediately. He allegedly kept working with Kelly like nothing had changed, because in that world, talent always came before morality. The hits kept coming, the money kept flowing, and the silence stayed strong. Until it didn't. Then the tide flipped, until the feds came knocking, until the documentaries aired, and suddenly the same men who helped build Kelly's empire were the ones throwing him straight to the wolves to save their own skins. Isn't it wild how Diddy's downfall started right around the same time R. Kelly's legal battles were wrapping up? It's almost like the feds were climbing the ladder, one name at a time, working their way through the same circle of power. But here's where things get dark, because this stopped being just about Aaliyah a long time ago. This is about an entire system, one that Jay-Z and Diddy didn't just benefit from, they allegedly helped create. These men didn't just see the dark side of the industry, they thrived in it, turning those secrets into currency and that silence into power. Jay-Z built his image as the self-made hustler, the street king who rose from nothing. But what if he never really left that mentality behind? What if he brought that same ruthless, cutthroat mindset straight into the boardroom? When you look at how he allegedly treated R. Kelly, first a partner, then a rival, and finally a full-blown target, it starts to look a lot less like business and a whole lot more like a calculated takedown. And Diddy, he didn't just throw flashy parties for fun. He allegedly ran those events like they were carefully controlled operations. Women like Cassie Ventura weren't just guests, they were allegedly moved around like pieces on the chessboard. Every move had a purpose, every face in the room had a reason to be there. That's why R. Kelly's latest prison filing sounds so dangerous, because if what he's claiming is even halfway true, if there really is a plot to silence him, then the question isn't just what he knows, it's who he's protecting and why. This isn't just about R. Kelly's secrets anymore. It's about what certain people allegedly did to make sure he could never speak again. Let's be real, Jay-Z didn't help fund surviving R. Kelly out of kindness. He allegedly saw it as the perfect chance to rewrite the story, to keep his image spotless, while Kelly's was dragged straight through the mud. And Diddy, he didn't just get caught, he got exposed. Just look at how that trial went down. The freak-off parties, the disturbing testimonies, the hidden recordings, the threats. It doesn't look like a simple fall of grace anymore. It looks like Judgment Day. And the only thing that could make this entire mess even worse is if Kelly's sitting on proof, tapes of photos or documents that Jay-Z was actually in the room when some of it happened. Now that would be the kind of revelation that could tear the whole industry apart. But let's follow the money, because that's where the real motives always hide. Jay-Z didn't just walk away from the streets, he allegedly rebuilt them inside the music.
But here's the real kicker. If R. Kelly's threats are legit, and he's truly sitting on a mountain of buried information, the biggest danger isn't some leaked video or wild testimony. It's a paper trail. Guys like Jay-Z and Diddy didn't rise to the top by being sloppy. They built their empires by keeping everything airtight, every deal documented, every payment tracked, every NDA locked down tighter than a vault. But here's the truth about paper trails. They never vanish. If Kelly's got access to any receipts, contracts, or records that prove who was where and when, the FBI won't be the only ones watching. Because the only thing men like Jay-Z and Diddy fear more than prison is exposure. Once those files surface, it won't just be about criminal charges. It'll be about their legacies crumbling in real time. And if what Kelly's saying has even a grain of truth, this story isn't about his downfall. It's about how far some of the most powerful figures in the industry might go to keep their empires from collapsing. This isn't just about two moguls. It's about an entire machine built on silence, secrets, and people pretending not to see what was happening right in front of them. As long as the money kept flowing, the parties kept booming, and the charts stayed hot, nobody dared to ask too many questions. Everyone played their part, everyone stayed quiet, and the game rolled on. Until it didn't. Because here's the hard truth about secrets. But here's the real kicker. If R. Kelly's threats are legit, and he's truly sitting on a mountain of buried information, the biggest danger isn't some leaked video or wild testimony. It's a paper trail. Guys like Jay-Z and Diddy didn't rise to the top by being sloppy. They built their empires by keeping everything airtight, every deal documented, every payment tracked, every NDA locked down tighter than a vault. But here's the truth about paper trails. They never vanish. If Kelly's got access to any receipts, contracts, or records that prove who was where and when, the FBI won't be the only ones watching. Because the only thing men like Jay-Z and Diddy fear more than prison is exposure. Once those files surface, it won't just be about criminal charges. It'll be about their legacies crumbling in real time. And if what Kelly's saying has even a grain of truth, this story isn't about his downfall. It's about how far some of the most powerful figures in the industry might go to keep their empires from collapsing. This isn't just about two moguls. It's about an entire machine built on silence, secrets, and people pretending not to see what was happening right in front of them. As long as the money kept flowing, the parties kept booming, and the charts stayed hot, nobody dared to ask too many questions. Everyone played their part, everyone stayed quiet, and the game rolled on. Until it didn't. Because here's the hard truth about secrets. They always find their way back to the surface. And when they finally blow up, they don't just take down one person, they bring down everything. The careers, the brands, the power circles, it all comes crashing down at once. Because if hip-hop's darkest chapters have taught us anything,
It's that the ones sitting at the top didn't get there by being innocent. They got there by knowing how to keep their dirt hidden until someone like R. Kelly decides it's time to talk. They didn't rise to the top by playing clean. They got there by making sure nobody could ever touch them. But what happens when the one person who knows everything they've buried becomes the one person they can't silence anymore? That's where things get truly dangerous. So this is where we leave it, at least for now. The courts might have spoken, the trials may be winding down, and the headlines are already chasing the next big scandal. But one burning question still hangs in the air like smoke that refuses to fade. What if R. Kelly isn't the real villain in this story? What if he's not the monster everyone painted him to be, but the witness to something even darker? And if that's true, if the very men who helped bury him are the ones with the most to hide, then who should really be sweating right now? Because one thing's crystal clear: power never likes to be challenged. And R. Kelly, sitting alone in that cell with nothing left to lose, might just be the only man alive with enough dirt to bring the whole system crashing down. So ask yourself, do you think he's bluffing just to stay relevant? Or is he holding the one card that could finally shatter the silence for good? Because in a game this dirty, the only thing more dangerous than the truth is the man brave enough to speak it. And if what he's claiming turns out to be real, then buckle up, because the real show hasn't even started yet. The stage is set, the players are cornered, and the next move could change everything. If you've made it this far, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this story. Drop a comment below. What do you think about this wild chain of events?